So the people of the United States are truly, and you can see that by looking at this incredible crowd, ready for change. This election is about a choice between the control of an arrogant ruling class in Washington, D.C. versus the hopes and dreams of everyday citizens. There is no greater example of this in our country than Flint, Michigan, and what's happened. I'm the messenger. The message is a good message, though. It's a message of competence. It's a message of jobs, jobs, jobs. It's a message of fixing our military, which is so depleted, the greatest people on earth. It's a message of taking care of our great vets. They're treated worse than illegal immigrants, believe me, in many cases. It's a message of saving our Second Amendment, which is totally under siege. It's a message of Supreme Court justices. Remember that. Remember that. Today, I went to Flint to address the water crisis. The water crisis in Flint demonstrates failure at every single level of government. Gross incompetence. Can you imagine? To save a couple of bucks, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars and they start taking water from a dirty area. This is the catastrophe that does happen when we build up other countries instead of our own. We take care of everybody else. Cars were made in Flint and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Now, the cars are made in Mexico and you can't drink the water in Flint. Oh, I hate to say that, but it's true, it's true, it's true. I mean, I can say it to you folks, and I've said this before. I have a friend who builds the biggest plants in the world. That's what he builds. If you said build an apartment, he wouldn't know where to begin. He builds plants, massive plants for automobiles, for computers. He's the biggest. And I said to him, so how are we doing? He said, unbelievable, Donald. Business is fantastic. I said, great, great. Where? Really? Tell me where. Oh, Mexico. I said, what about our country? Not so much. He said, we are building the most incredible plants in Mexico. It's the 8th wonder of the world. NAFTA has killed us. Our stupid politicians have killed us. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to bring our jobs back. And we're going to start protecting our people. Driving through the city, you see the shuttered homes and businesses, the dilapidated infrastructure, like you don't see anywhere. You don't see this in third world countries. This is the United States. You don't see it in third world countries. And by the way, I watched Obama yesterday. Why isn't he working? Why isn't he working instead of campaigning for crooked Hillary? Why? Lower crime, better schools, more jobs, safety, security, opportunity. Now, I understand there are going to be some people in these communities who aren't planning on voting for me, and that's okay. I will campaign hard for their votes anyway. We can't stay the course. We have to do it properly. We can't keep doing it the way it's being done right now by our politicians. They're selling our nation down the tubes. And the folks in the inner cities, keep voting. Oh, we will build the wall. Don't worry about that. We will build the wall, and we'll stop those drugs from pouring in. We will build the wall, and who is going to pay for the wall? Is there any place on earth more fun and more safe than a Trump rally? Hillary Clinton you people in Ohio, you're so tough. You're so tough. You don't realize how you are. I'll tell you what, honestly, you don't realize how important you are on November 8th. You better get out and vote. You better get out and vote. Hillary Clinton calls people who aren't supporting her deplorable and irredeemable. Irredeemable. I call people who aren't supporting me, American citizens, who are entitled to the same respect as anyone else, and I will not stop campaigning for every last American vote in every last American city right up until November 8th. I will take my message to communities that are 99% Democrat or that have voted Democrat for many, many generations. We're going to get things changed. I'm running to be the president for all Americans, to represent all Americans, and to liberate our poor citizens from crime, poverty, and violence. I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States of America. I'm running to bring hope to Flint and so many other places, including even Canton. And I love this place. I love this place. And I'll be back. Hillary Clinton's refugee plans will cost $400 billion. Think of it. That's enough money to rebuild the entire water infrastructure of the United States. President Obama just announced a 30% increase to refugee admissions coming into this country, bringing the total. This was hard to watch this morning. I saw it this morning. I said I have to mention it. Bringing the total to 110,000 refugees in just a single year, and we have no idea where they come from, folks. This could be the great Trojan horse, and I don't want to be known in 200 years for having created the Trojan horse with a different name. We don't know where these people come from. We don't know if they have love or hate in their heart, and there's no way to tell. We'll build safe zones. We'll build safe zones. We owe, as you know, $20 trillion, double the debt during the Obama years, double the, did you see this? Double, more than double by the time he gets out. $20 trillion. We will have the Gulf states pay for it. We will lead it, but they will pay for it, and we'll build safe zones. But we can't let these people come into our country. We have enough problems. We have enough problems. Hillary Clinton's attacks on you display the same sense of arrogance and entitlement that led her to violate federal law as Secretary of State, hide and delete her emails, destroy her iPhones with a hammer, put classified information into the reach of our enemies, lie to Congress, and sell government favors and access through the Clinton Foundation. Now, the same people who destroyed the emails are pleading the Fifth Amendment in front of Congress. You saw that today, yesterday. Fifth Amendment, bomb. There is no greater threat to democracy than when a public official puts their office up for sale. Hillary Clinton's record as Secretary of State is one of historic failure. Everything went wrong. Just look at what she did to the Middle East, in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya. Not to mention her failures in Russia, China, and North Korea. Look at what's happening. One failure after another, all while raising millions and millions and millions of dollars from her friends on Wall Street, many of whom I know. Many of whom I know. The policies of Hillary Clinton have produced only destruction overseas and poverty at home. That's what's happened. 1 in 5 American households do not have a single member in the labor force. Another 14 million people left the labor force entirely since 2009. And the national debt has doubled over the last 7.5 years. Hillary Clinton's bad judgment, and she suffers from terribly bad judgment. And the first one to bring that to our attention was Bernie Sanders, who is not a happy camper right now, I have to tell you. Hillary Clinton's bad judgment was seen in her support of Bill Clinton's NAFTA, worst deal ever made in the history of our country for economics, economic development. You know, if you look at trade deals, not just in the United States, NAFTA was the worst deal ever made in the history of the world. Her support for China's entry into the World Trade Organization and her support for TPP, which is another total disaster that she called the gold standard, which is going to kill Ohio, it's going to kill Pennsylvania, it's going to kill virtually every state that does any business outside of its borders. Ohio has lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, and 1 in 4 since China entered through the Clintons the World Trade Organization. Our trade deficit in goods with the world, who are these people that make these deals? Our trade deficit is almost $800 billion a year. Think of this. Who makes these deals? Who makes these deals? I will defend your jobs, and I will bring back vehicle production to the United States of America. That includes Ohio, and it includes Michigan, and it includes all of the states that are being ripped off. Mexico is becoming the car capital of the world. We got to bring back our jobs first. We have to bring them back. Imagine how many jobs and more jobs would be lost if TPP was actually approved. And Hillary Clinton, 100%, will approve it as soon if she gets, oh, let's not say it. I can't say it. Can't say it. Can't say it. But I'll say it. If she gets elected, that's going to be approved, and it's going to be devastating for our country. We will not let that happen November 8th. We will not let that. In all things, it's time to put America first. We have to put America first. My daughter, Ivanka Trump, helped me a lot with that plan. A lot. She's a big believer. She's got a big heart. Believe me, she's a big, big believer. On policy after policy, we are going to bring opportunity and prosperity to all Americans. I'm going to lower your taxes. I'm going to get rid of massive amounts of unnecessary regulations on business and in your life. I'm going to repeal and replace Obamacare. I'm going to appoint justices of the Supreme Court who will follow the Constitution. I'm going to rebuild our depleted military, the greatest people on earth, and take care of our vets. I'm going to save your Second Amendment. The National Rifle Association has endorsed me, and they are great people. We are going to save your Second Amendment, believe me. I'm going to stop illegal immigration and drugs from pouring into our country. And yes, as I said, we will build the wall. So importantly, don't forget, when I announced, seems like a long time ago, 17 people running, I was the non-professional. Everyone said, oh, Trump has never done this before. How could he possibly survive? These are the greatest professionals in the business. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to bring our companies back. We're not going to let companies move so easily. I told you before, they will have consequences. And companies like Apple and our other major companies will start making their iPhones and computers and other products inside of the United States, not in China and all over the world. We don't make our products anymore in the United States, but we will again, like never, ever before. We will again. Don't worry about it. We will again. We will rebuild our roads, bridges, tunnels, highways, airports, schools, and hospitals. We will rebuild our water infrastructure. Thank you, Flint. And our EPA will abandon political agendas and focus on its core mission, clean air and clean water. American cars will travel the roads. American planes will soar the skies. And American ships will patrol the sea. And we're going to take care of our miners, and we're going to take care of our steelworkers. Remember that. We're going to take care of our miners. We're going to take care of our steelworkers. American steel will send new skyscrapers way, way, way into the clouds. American hands will rebuild this nation. And American energy, mined from American sources, will power our nation. I will fight for every neglected part of this nation, and I will fight to bring us all together as one American people. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. It's time to break with the bitter failures of the past and to embrace a new, inclusive, and prosperous American future.
I saw the picture of Mother Teresa that was being held up here, and I was fortunate enough to know Mother Teresa. I was fortunate enough to actually work with her. We didn't agree on everything, but we found common ground.